So today we go to the seventh sutra of Ashtavakra Gita. The sutra says, you are the solitary witness, observer of all that is, forever free. Your only bondage is not seeing this. This sutra is extremely important. We have become the observed and have forgotten the observer. I'll explain this with a small story. A politician died. His wife, who had died 2 years earlier, welcomed him at the gate of the other world. But the politician said, I don't want to come in yet. Let me go to the national burning ground along with my coffin. The wife said, what is the use now? The body is lying there in the coffin. It is now earth. He replied, it is not earth. Let me see how many people have come to bid me goodbye. The politician and his wife began to walk with the procession. No one could see them, but they could see everything. There was a huge crowd. There were news reporters and photographers. Flags had been lowered. Flowers were heaped on the coffin, and it came in a military truck. Great respect was being demonstrated. There were guns in front and behind of the coffin, and soldiers accompanied the procession. The politician was deeply moved. The wife asked, why are you so happy? He said, if I had known that so many people would come when I died, I would have died earlier. I should have died much earlier. Why did I wait for so many years? But I lived so that such a large crowd would come when I died. People live for the crowd. People die for the crowd. We have become the observed and have forgotten the observer. We perceive our lives through the eyes of others. The eyes of others act as a mirror. We forget the observer and become the observed. And this is natural. A child is born, he doesn't know anything about himself. Only by looking into the eyes of others will he know who he is. We cannot see our face. We have to look in a mirror. When we look in the mirror, we actually become the observed. We are no longer the observer. How much do we know about ourselves? Just as much as the mirror reveals. The mother says, my child is beautiful. So the child thinks that he is beautiful. The teacher in the school says, you are intelligent. And the child begins to believe that he is intelligent. If someone insults us or condemns us, the tone penetrates us very deeply. That is why our knowledge about ourselves is so confused, because it is made of many conflicting voices. Someone says, you're beautiful. And someone else says, you beautiful? Look at your face in the mirror. Both voices are taken in, duality is created. Someone says, you're very intelligent. And someone else says, I have never seen such an idiot. Both voices are taken in, both are collected. We have become the observed and have forgotten the observer. That is why we are not certain about who we are. We have collected a crowd of opinions. We have looked in so many mirrors, and each mirror has given us a different message. In reality, mirrors have no messages about us. The mirror is actually all about themselves. We've all seen mirrors in which sometimes we appear tall, sometimes we appear fat, sometimes we appear beautiful, and sometimes we appear ugly. The reflection in the mirror is not of us, the reflection is the mirror's nature. In life, conflicting opinions go on accumulating. We begin to believe that this accumulation of conflicting opinions is us. How deep is this fear of public opinion? What if people think bad of me? What if they should think me a fool? We become worried because we have shaped our being according to others. For centuries, masters have been saying, if you want to know yourself, you will have to stop looking for your image in the eyes of others. People go on giving feedback as to who you are, whether you ask for it or not. Images of who you are go on pouring in from all sides, and we begin to live by these images. What others say has become so important that we do not even ask ourselves who we are. We collect cuttings of what others say and build our self-image. This image is very unsteady because people's minds go on changing. Not only do people's minds go on changing, their reasons also go on changing. One says beautiful, the other says ugly. One says good, the other says bad. And these impressions go on accumulating. And on the basis of these opposing opinions, we fashion our being. Today's sutra is, you are the solitary witness, the solitary observer of all that is, forever free. Your only bondage is not seeing this. The individual is the observer, not the observed. There are three types of people: performers, spectators, and observers. Those who have become objects to be seen, they are performers. They are in the deepest darkness. Second are those who are spectators. They are a little better than the first, but there isn't much difference. Third are those who have become observers. It is good to understand these three distinctly. When one becomes the observed, one becomes a thing, one loses one's soul. One lives to be an object to be seen. One's efforts are there to impress people. How to look good, how to look beautiful, how to look the best. It is not an effort to be the best, but an effort to appear the best. One who becomes the observed becomes an hypocrite. One covers one's face with a mask. One presents a good outward show, but is actually rotting inside. Second are those who have become spectators. They are the vast crowd. Naturally, the first type of people need the second type. Otherwise, how can people become performers? Someone becomes a politician, he needs a big crowd to clap for him. There is a great harmony between performers and spectators. A leader needs followers. If someone is dancing, spectators are required. If someone sings, listeners are needed. Hence, some busy themselves as performers and some remain spectators. Spectators are the vast crowd. Never confuse these two again. People think that they have become the observer when they have actually become the spectator. There is a fundamental distinction between these two words. Dictionaries may not show this difference. They may show that spectator and observer have the same meaning, but in the dictionary of spirituality, in the dictionary of life, there is a great difference. A spectator is one whose eyes are on others, but the observer is one whose eyes are on himself. When the eyes are on the object, you are a spectator. When the eyes are on the seer, you are an observer. This is a revolutionary distinction, very fundamental. When your eyes stop on the object and you forget yourself, then you are a spectator. When all objects of vision have departed, when you and only you are there, only awakening remains, only alertness remains, then you are the observer. When you are a spectator, you become completely oblivious. You forget yourself completely, your attention gets stuck there. We go to the movies and for 3 hours, we forget ourselves. We don't even remember who we are. We forget all our worries and anxieties. That is why crowds rush to cinemas. There is so much worry, anxiety, trouble in living. A method of forgetting is needed. People become one-pointed. Only at the movies is their total attention focused. They see actually there is nothing on the screen, just shadows gone flickering. But people are all attention. We forget our illness, our anxieties, our old age, and even if death comes, we'll forget that. But remember, we have not become an observer in the theater. We have just become a spectator. We have forgotten ourselves. We have no memory of who we are. We have lost all memory of the energy of seeing what is within us. We have stopped at the object in front of us and we are totally drowned in it. To be a spectator is a kind of self-forgetting. To be an observer means all objects of observation disappear. The screen is now empty. No film moves on it. No thoughts remain, no words remain. The screen becomes absolutely empty, blank and shining, nothing left to see. Only the seer remains. And now we take a plunge into the seer. We become the observer. Performers and spectators, humanity is divided between these two. Very rarely is an observer born, an Ashtavakra, a Krishna, a Mahavir, a Buddha. Very rarely someone is awakened and becomes the observer. That is why Ashtavakra says in this sutra, you are the solitary witness of all that is. And the beauty of this sutra is that no sooner do we become an observer, then we realize that the observer is only one, not many. Objects are many, spectators are many. It is the nature of objects and spectators to be many. The observer is only one. If we think about the moon, the full moon, if we look at the rivers and the puddles, if we look at the pools and the ponds in the ocean and in the streams, Everywhere the moon is reflected. If we wander the earth counting all the reflections, there will be millions. The moon is one. Reflections are innumerable. The observer is one. Performers and spectators are many, but they are only reflections. When a person becomes free from being a performer or a spectator, then he has no desire to exhibit, to be seen. He has no desire to see when he knows that the trap of seeing and showing is false. No longer is he interested in anything. He attains non-attachment and freedom from desire. Now there is no desire for anyone to say you are beautiful, you are good, you are virtuous. Even if you inwardly wish people to think you are virtuous, then you know that you are still caught in the same old web. If you wish in your heart that people know you are religious, then you are still caught in the same web. The world is still with you. It has assumed another shape. It has taken a new mode, but the same old trap continues. The same old pattern continues. What will we get by seeing? We have seen so much. And what have we got? What will you get by exhibiting? Who can give you something real for your display? Putting aside these two, putting aside this duality and plunging into the observer, one finds that there is only one. The full moon is only one. In these pools, puddles, ponds, lakes, it looks numerous. There were separate mirrors, so there seemed to be many moons. That is why Ashtavakra tells us, you are the solitary witness of all that is forever free. Do not think that when he uses the word, you are forever free, is just a fantasy. We are very strange. We think that the world is real and the statement of truth are just fantasies. That is why Ashtavakra says, in reality free, one is not bound. Bondage is impossible because only God is and only one is. There is nothing that binds nor anything to be bound. In reality, always free. And then what he says is, your bondage is this, that you see the other, not yourself, as the observer. There is only one bondage when we consider the other, not ourselves, as the observer. And there is only one liberation, to know ourselves as the observer. And we could try this as an experiment. Let's say when we are sitting in the park, we are sitting near a tree and we are looking at it. Then gradually, let us continue looking at this tree, but at the same time, think about who is actually looking at the tree. We just need a little adjustment. Ordinarily, the arrow of consciousness moves towards the tree. Let this arrow move in both directions. Let it bear fruit in both directions. It should see the tree and at the same time see the one who is trying to see. We should not forget the seer throughout the day. We need to catch the seer more and more. We will miss again and again. It is a habit of many, many lives. But we need to catch once again. As the observer, as the seer comes into our grasp, blessings will fall. And it will happen very quickly. So Ashtavakra tells us, your bondage is this, that you see the other, not yourself, as the observer. We now need to look at this from another angle as well. We are listening. So we think that the ears are listening. When we see something, we think that the eyes are seeing. But how will the eyes see? If you think that the eyes are the observer, then we are mistaken. The one who sees is behind the eyes. The one who hears is behind the ears. If we touch someone's hand, we will think that our hand is actually touching someone's hand, but it is wrong. The one who touches is hidden within the hand. Otherwise, how will the hand touch? If we die tomorrow, our corpse will be lying there. People will still hold the hand, but there won't be any touch. The corpse will be lying there. The eyes will still be open. It will look like everything is being seen, but nothing is being seen. The corpse will be lying there. There may be music, a band playing, sound waves strike the ears, vibrations will reach, but nothing will be heard. He who used to hear, he who saw, he who touched, he who tasted, that one has gone. The sense organs by themselves do not bring experience. Someone hidden behind the sense organs. Therefore, the other meaning of this sutra is to know yourself as the observer, not as the body, not as the eyes, the ears, the sense organs. Know only the inner consciousness as the observer. Once Swaminarayan was in his travels, and he had a group of devotees who were sitting in front of him. And Swaminarayan asked a question to his devotees: who is the most ignorant of all the people who are ignorant? And nobody could answer that question. And then Swaminarayan responded: the soul, the observer, the consciousness who resides in this body, outwardly sees the form of beauty or decay, goes through the different stages of childhood, youth, and old age, and sees various objects but does not try to see his own self. He, with an outward vision, sees everything outside, but does not draw inward to see himself. Such a soul can be said to be dwelling in utter darkness. He is interested in enjoying the outward charms through his eyes, his ears, touch, and taste, but does not try to experience the joy from his own inner self and the beauty of that self. He therefore, such a person, therefore, lacks spiritual wisdom, lacks sense, and is the king of all fools and the vilest of the vile. So friends, the 7th sutra of Ashtavakra Gita tells us, you are the solitary witness of all that is, forever free, and our only bondage is not being able to see.